Hello Skillr fans, today we're going to be talking about one of the most underrated defensive techniques in boxing, parrying punches. Parrying is the act of deflecting an opponent's punch with a quick, subtle movement of the hand, forearm or elbow. It's a skill that requires great timing, reflexes and accuracy, but these high requirements yield high returns, allowing you to turn your opponent's offense into opportunities to counter with big punches or set up defensive maneuvers.
Something they didn't really expect.
So let's dive into the world of parrying. Parrying punches, basics and best practices. The basic principle of parrying is to redirect the opponent's punch away from its intended target. This can be done in many ways to deal with different punches, situations and opponents. A really common and useful parry you will see is the parry of the jab. Knowing how to parry the jab is key for energy efficient defense. Instead of having to constantly give ground or move your head, which wastes a lot of energy,
you're at least lots of jabs, nothing landed. However, Canelo is moving.
You will simply have to touch your opponent's jab. Parrying the jab is an intermediate level technique, as it is easier to learn than slipping, but harder and more high risk than blocking and catching. You should structure your training accordingly, developing your jab parries only once you have learned how to block and catch. When learning to parry, it's best to start with a simple jab catch, as all parries flow easily from it and it's safer for beginners. Catching is easy. Open your glove, turn the thumb in and drive towards the jab. The catch shares startup mechanics with several different types of parries, but it has some key differences that are important to understand. First, catches offer more coverage than parries, since your hand stays in the way of their jab throughout the motion, instead of swiping across the attack line or dropping down. This makes them a bit safer and less reliant on good timing. Second, catches require less commitment, as they do not move the hand as far from the face or take the elbow off the body, leaving you in a position to follow up with attacks or defense. There is a downside. Catches offer very little control of the opponent's hand, and thus far fewer opportunities to safely follow up with attacks or aggressive movement. This weakness happens to be the number one strength of parrying. When parrying, you trade coverage for control. Once you know how to catch the jab, parrying is the next natural step. As soon as you feel the opponent's glove touch your palm, you can use that contact to transition to any of the following parrying options. Number 1. Drop or down parries. The down parry involves pushing, tapping or dragging your opponent's punch down, using the glove or forearm. Like all parries, this can be done directly off the jab catch. You'll often see it used to defend against body shots, and it is especially useful to open up counterattacks. Like all parries, down parries have pros and cons. Pros. Down parries are very tiring for the opponent. They're forced to do a front raise to recover their basic defensive position, going against gravity and the pressure of your arm. Down parries create big openings. Knocking the hand down opens that punch lane for your power shots to the head. They are relatively easy to pull off. Because gravity is on your side, down parries are much easier than scoop out, lift or in parry options. Cons. Down parries expose your head. The drop action exposes your face, and this motion can be exploited to open you up. Number 2. Inside parries. With inside parries, we use catch mechanics but turn the hand pinky side in at the last second, driving into the hand, wrist or forearm to knock their punch off course. Pros. Inside parries leave the parrying hand free to defend. In an orthodox versus orthodox situation, the parrying motion hands your hand across the opponent's jab lane and nearly into the path of their cross. Some opponents will be reluctant to punch through the traffic made by your hand, and even if they do punch, you're still in a position to defend as your hand is still at head level and close to your face. Inside parries set up same side counters. Just like down parries, inside parries create openings for attacks on that side. Cons. Inside parries require good timing and they leave you open when mistimed. Number 3. Scooping, parrying outside. With outside parries, we use catch mechanics but roll the hand thumb down and out at the last second to scoop their punch to the outside. Pros. Outside parries keep you in control of the opponent's hand for a long time, for the whole duration of the scooping action, which gives you lots of opportunities to circle, step offline, or close the gap on that side. Outside parries put your hand on the inside track. Outside parries end with your hand on the inside, pushing the opponent's hand outward. In other words, they leave your hand closer to your opponent's hand than theirs, so you'll arrive first if you want to tag them with a quick punch, try to blind or control the head. Cons. Outside parries are harder to time and pull off, requiring more drilling to get the motion right. Outside parries do not set you up for same side counters, except for little slapping shots you can steal from the end position. The hand is left far too out of the optimal start position and at a strange angle that is tough to generate power from. Of course, the jab is not the only punch we can parry. Hooks are a little bit more tricky to deal with, but they can be parried. One option involves slightly ducking your head and lifting your hand at the right moment, so you deflect the punch right over you. There are also more advanced parrying techniques, such as the shoulder parry or even the elbow parry. Sometimes, punches can be parried with your shoulders. A great technique is the shoulder roll. It involves rolling the shoulder to deflect the punch and create an opening for a counter.
Opening, subtle shift, and then he darts away from the...
One of the most tricky techniques is the elbow parry. Quite unusual, but it can be effective to defend your opponent's more lazy attacks. It can be done with the elbow or the forearm, and is a good technique to rest and save energy while moving around the ring.
And you see how quick he grabbed onto him and prevented him?
It's a defensive technique that every boxer should master, as it can save them from taking damage and can also create opportunities for counterattacks.
Santa Cruz is going to fold from his... Oh my! There is a lethal left uppercut!
We'd love to know your opinion. What do you think is the most useful way to parry punches? Let us know in the comments.